So these are some of the things you need to do before you move to Finland. Some of the things you need to take care of, make sure they're in order before you move to Finland, and also some of the things I would advise you to avoid before you move to Finland. So if this is something you're interested in, give this video a thumb up, subscribe if you're new, and let's get right into the video. Yes. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia if you're new. So in today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys the things you need to do before moving to Finland. In my previous video, I shared with you guys some of the things you need to do the moment you arrive to Finland. So I'm glad that you guys found it very useful because I got lots of positive response on that video. So I'm glad that you guys found it useful. So in today's video, I'll be sharing the things you need to do before you move to Finland. Now, this video is not about how to apply to study in Finland or move to Finland and apply for your residence permit or work permit or visa. No. So we are assuming that you've taken care of all that. The video is for those who are already sure of moving to Finland, in that you've taken care of your permit and your visas and all that, and you are just preparing to move to Finland. So in that case, I have here things you need to do, you need to take care of in Finland while you are still in your country, and you have to do these things before you move to Finland. So if this is what you're interested in, click on the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's get right into the video. The first one is housing. I mentioned this in my previous video where I talked about registering your presence in Finland. When you arrive, you have to register as a new resident in Finland, and then you get your personal identity code. So they need an address for that. So I mentioned that, and I told you guys that in this video it will be top on the list. Now there are lots of housing agencies and websites where you can arrange for housing even while you're still in your country. For example, we have Oikotie, and then we have Etuovi. So these are different agencies where you can actually go to their website and then search for the house that you want, in what area, and all how many rooms. So they have all that on the website, so you can see the price. I think I have a video here where I mentioned about housing in Finland, how you can search for apartment and all that. So I'm going to link that video up here so you can go and check it. So housing is very important. It is something you need to take care of before you move to Finland, because when you get here, you need a place to sleep that first night, and you don't want to waste your money in hotels and all that. And also, as a student, I would advise you to get the student accommodation, because when you apply to study in Finland, most of the universities have housing agencies that they work with, and these housing agencies offer students cheaper houses at very cheap discounted prices, and you have almost everything you need. So there are student apartments, and they are really good. And the good thing also is that if you're coming with your family, they have these apartments as well that you can actually move in with your family. So they have bigger space for you. So it's so cheaper than what you will get if you're moving to any of these houses that I mentioned earlier. So as a student, your accommodation is already arranged for you before you get here. So they give you the housing, and then you can ask someone to get the key for you, or you can go and collect it the first day you arrive in Finland. If you're not a student, you can also arrange accommodation. You just go to all these websites that I mentioned, and then you can see the houses, different options, and then you can choose what you want. The point is that it is best for you if you can actually arrange your accommodation before you arrive to Finland. That way you won't come here and then start spending your first few nights in the hotel and paying a lot of money. Hotels can be quite expensive depending on the area also, but it is best if you already arrange your accommodation, and then you save yourself that extra expenses. Number 2, make sure that your passport is still valid, and not only valid but still valid for several months. Now your passport is your official travel document, so it is good that the document is still active and valid. Although in Finland you have the embassies, that's embassies of different countries, but it's not all of them that are here. For example, I'm from Nigeria, and the Nigerian embassy is not in Finland, it is in Sweden. So if you arrive in Finland and your passport is almost expiring, then that means you need to go and renew, and you don't know if your embassy is here, or you need to travel to another country. So it is good that your passport is still valid for many months, so that you can actually settle down, and then when you need to renew, then you know how to do it and where you can do that. So your passport is your official travel document, so make sure that it is valid, in order, and valid for many months. So what I would advise you is to renew your passport if your passport is about to expire. The good thing now is that you can renew your passport when it's about 3 months to expire, and then when you renew, it can last for like 5 years or 10 years. Like in my case, 5 years or 10 years, depending on your country. So it's advisable that you renew your passport if it's about to expire. So you take care of that before you move to Finland. Number 3 is vaccinations. I will advise you to get some of your vaccinations before you come to Finland. So speak with your doctor to know the kind of vaccinations that you need before you move to Finland. But I must say that Finland is a developed country, so it's not like you're traveling to a third world country where you need to get lots of vaccination and all that. So it's a developed country, so you may not need a lot of vaccinations. But if you're coming from, for example, a country where there are lots of mosquitoes and you have malaria and typhoid, like I'm from Nigeria and we have malaria and typhoid there, I will advise you to treat yourself of malaria and typhoid before you come to Finland, because we don't have malaria like that here. We don't have malaria, we don't have typhoid. These are things that you will not find here in Finland. If you're living in a place where you have malaria and typhoid, you know how it works. First of all, the malaria will be in your system and you don't even know, especially the typhoid. It will be in your system and then for a long time it's there and you won't know, and then it starts gradually affecting you, and sometimes it can start from a pain somewhere in your body. If you live in a place where you have malaria and typhoid, you know what I mean, and you know how it works. So the malaria and the typhoid can be in your body and you may not know, and then you travel to Finland, you get here and then you get sick, and then everybody is rushing around. The doctors are trying to do different tests on you to see what is wrong with you, and then it may take time before they will find out that it is malaria or typhoid. So to save yourself the headache and also to save the time and the stress, I would advise you to actually treat yourself of malaria and typhoid before you get here. Now, you know the drugs that we use for malaria and typhoid, like in my country, for example, is something you can just go to the chemist and you just get it. You know, you just buy it. You don't need a prescription for that. You just buy it and then you can take it for 1 week, take 1 dose, take 2 doses and 3 doses like that. So it's like almost like self-medication. It's something constant, what people do usually. But here, because we don't have malaria and typhoid, so it's not that the medicine is not available. It is available, but it may take a process to get it, and it's not something that you just go to the chemist here and buy. So definitely treat yourself of malaria and typhoid to make sure that it's not in your blood before you get here. That way you save yourself the time and the headache. So if you are from a country where there are lots of mosquitoes and you know how malaria and typhoid works, then you understand what I mean. So treat yourself of it before you come. Number 4, now this is legal issue, is very important. Please take off your outstanding debts and contract or whatever you need to do, whatever contract you are under, or could it be employment contract or outstanding debt, or if you're owing somebody, take off all of that before you move to Finland, because the last thing you want is to be here and then you have some things you have to deal with at home, and then you realize that there are some kind of legal actions being taken against you and you have to go back again and spend flight ticket to go and come. So I would advise you that if you have anything you need to do, any pending cases, any pending issues, any pending rent, any pending debt, whatever you're owing anybody, make sure that you've completed all your tax, things you need to do, every contract you're into. So take care of all that, all outstanding debts and all that before you move to Finland. And also insurance. Insurance is very important. So you need to take off your insurance when you're traveling to Finland. If you're coming to Finland as a student, one of the requirements is that you have a health insurance to the amount of 30,000 euros. Because if you get sick while you are in Finland and you are not entitled to the medical health system, then you may need to pay by yourself. Your health insurance is something you have to take care of before you move to Finland. And also, if you're traveling to Finland, maybe as a tourist, you also need to take off your insurance. It's a requirement. I'm sure of it. There is a requirement for traveling to Finland. Whether you're visiting or you are a student, you need to have your health insurance, and you need to attach the certificate to your residence permit application or your visa applications. And this is something you need to take care of while you are still in your own home country. Another thing you should do before you move to Finland is to start taking care of those things that you cannot find here. So the mistake that many people make, and I made that mistake as well, is to bring to Finland the wrong things. When you're moving to Finland, then you start bringing or packing things that are also here. Like when I was coming, I packed winter jackets and winter boots and all that, because I just knew that it was going to be cold in Finland, and then I needed those clothes. I didn't want to be cold. But it didn't occur to me. Well, it occurred not, but I was just excited. You know, I should have at least packed things I will not see here. So I didn't know about that. That's what I'm telling you now. So before you move to Finland, what you need to do is to take care of the things that you cannot find here. For example, if you need to start preparing some of your traditional clothes and items, they start doing that. Now, you can't find a native tailor here or someone that will give you some of your local spices. Some of these spices need to be prepared like weeks before you travel. So that's why you need to start doing these things before you come. So get those spices that you love, those spices that you know that you cannot find here, or some of your cultural clothing and items that you know that we cannot find in Finland. So start preparing them, meet your tailor, sew them, make sure you like something like this, you know, or stuff like this. Like for example, these are beads in my hair that I had to buy all the way from Nigeria. If I had known, I would have brought them when I was coming. And the funny thing is that most of the things I brought when I was coming to Finland, I ended up not using it, although half of them stayed at the airport because it was too much, so they didn't let me carry them. And then secondly, I didn't need them, so I ended up not using them. Most of the things are already here, but I didn't bring things like this, you know, and that. So these are things that you have to like get all the way and order all the way from Nigeria, and then you pay extra. So these are things you need to take care of while you are in your country. Your food items, things that you know that you cannot find here, and then your clothing and your cultural items. Arrange all that. So start packaging them and arranging them way before you move to Finland, maybe like some weeks, so that by the time you arrive to Finland, then you have all these things ready. Of course, we have ethnic stores and shops where you can buy food items, but there are some of the spices and some of the things that you can never find. And then even if you find them, they are going to be processed or they are going to be dried so that you can stay in the store, and then the taste may not be the same, and also the price is going to be so much. So it is best for you to take care of that by yourself while you're still in your country. Package your things, package your bag, get all those things that you need way before you move to Finland. I'm telling you this from experience, because when you get here, you find out that the things that you packed, you don't need them. So when you're packing, number one tip is think of the things that you cannot find in Finland. Think of the things that are expensive to buy in Finland where you can actually buy cheap. For example, shea butter. You know, the African shea butter or African black soap. If you like to bathe with black soap, you know how expensive they are in the shops here if you want to buy African black soap or African shea butter. But if you're in Africa, you're coming, then get your shea butter right away and get your African black soap right away from where you are before you move here. So that's just an example. So before you move to Finland, like a couple of weeks before you move, start preparing your spices and taking care of those things that you will not find here. It's very important, because just forget about winter clothes and all that and English clothes. You find that everything you find here. Think of things that you will not find here. All right, I can't stress it enough, right? Let's move on. The next one, this also is very personal, guys. Stay out of trouble, because the thing is that in life, when something is about to happen to you, where something good is about to happen, maybe you have something you've been planning, and then you see temptations coming from here and there. I'm telling you from a personal experience. When it was about 2 weeks for me to move to Finland, I've prepared everything, and then everything was ready, and then I was excited, and then concluding with my workplace and all that. And then with someone that I know, we had an issue, and this issue went to the police station. It was just a minor issue, and we were talking about it and just clearing everything, you know, and then my lawyer friends were there with me. The person that I was in the same case with, you know, the person did something bad, and then I was thinking, okay, I need to arrest this lady because she messed up. I need to arrest her. So I was in the police station trying to fill the form and all that, so they can go and arrest this lady. And then I thought, if you arrest this lady, there's going to be issues starting, and then maybe some one thing leads to another, and then maybe you go to court or something. And then, do you have that time? You have to choose your battles. You're leaving the country next week. Do you want to start this? Because if you arrest this lady, you don't know what's going to come out of this. So I just told myself, you know what, I'm going to swallow my pride and swallow the whole thing and forget about this, because I know that I'm traveling next week. I'm leaving the country. I've packed everything. I'm going to study for 2 years. And if I start trying to hold on to my rights and arresting this lady and know that I'm making a case, what's going to happen? So my advice for you, before you move to Finland, when you're about to move, maybe like 1 month, 2 months, everything is settled, your visa, your residence permit, everything is ready. Stay out of trouble, because nature, I don't know if it's nature or life, has a way of throwing things at you at the wrong moment. People just want to tempt you, you know, it's like that. So especially when something is about to happen in your life, so it's just like to distract you. So do not be distracted. For me, few days, like 2-3 days, when I was about to move to Finland, I didn't leave my house. I was just relaxing and just eating and drinking and watching movie. You know, if you need to do that, lock yourself in, especially if you live in a country like mine, where there are lots of people and things are going on and everybody is touching everybody, and troubles left, right, and center. If you don't live in a very peaceful, Finland is very peaceful, things hardly happen here. So if you live in a place like Finland with only 6 million people, it's fine. You can just have fun before you leave. But if you live in a very busy country, then I advise you to stay out of trouble, minimize where you go, minimize the things that you do, because life has a way of challenging us when we're on the edge of starting something new. So stay out of trouble. I'm telling you this from a personal experience, okay? You should check out these 2 videos also. I'm sure you find them very informative. If this was a helpful video, give it a thumb up. And if you're new on my channel, subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.